Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Modern Mystic radio show. My name is Mystic Saira. I'm going to be with you for the next 20 to 30 minutes. I'm not on my own. I do have a very special guest with me tonight. I have with me a spiritual medium by the name of Ian Mason, who I'm just about to welcome onto the show. Hi Ian, how are you?
I'm very well, Sarah. How are you, my lovely?
I'm very well, thank you. Very, very. Remind everybody a little bit about your journey. So, when did you first start off realising you had psychic ability?
My strongest memories was when I was 8 years old, and I had an imaginary friend, and a lot of kids have imaginary friends, but mine decided to talk back to me. So I realised something different was going on. So his name was Little Diddy. That's what he told me. And he's a mischievous scamp. And there we go.
So do you think that was a spirit guide, or was that just somebody visiting you? What do you think that was?
If I answered that now, I would say that it was an affirmation that I had a connection with what I'm going to call divine consciousness. Presented to me in a form that I would recognise, which at that age would be an imaginary playmate of around the similar age, just to give me that confidence that I could talk back and I'd get that answer back. And it's gone from there.
So just describe your journey so far. Obviously you don't jump from that state straight into being on platform. So what was it that led you to working as a medium?
The truthful answer is a variety of things. Some life trauma, and I remember when I was 13, my great-grandmother passing away. And at that point, I knew what was going on and that she'd passed. And then an interest in martial arts. I've got a heavy martial arts background. And then astrology. And then just a deep sense of knowing that evolved with some sort of connection where I felt something flowing through me, giving me some kind of a buzz, until some more life trauma when you sort of hit around the 40s in your life. Mm-hmm. And I just started to connect stronger then. And I went to Circle. Stayed in some circles, moved on, and then just took a leap of faith and off I went. So, and I just keep on going, and it keeps on going with me. So I'm grateful for that.
So if somebody wasn't aware of psychic ability, just listening in, and would you class yourself more as a medium or somebody that helps people throughout their day-to-day life?
Both, really. I don't feel that it's a separate thing, because if it's done through love, which is how I work, then, love is love. And, I've helped various different people with mediumistic readings that have been drawn to me through a healing connection and just through giving people readings. So I take the view that if you're willing and you're there to serve and to do thy will on earth as is done in heaven, if you like, then if you allow, it will work with you. And you will always be in the right space and place to do what you need to do. Okay,
so if you just describe about your specific ability. So when you're communicating with perhaps somebody's loved one, yes. Do you physically see them? Do you physically hear them? Is it in your head? How would you describe how it comes through to you?
I get this sort of sense of, what I say, a blend of energies that initially comes with me.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I get visual images, because I get everything that you've mentioned there, but, I remember once I had somebody's granddad come close to me, and it was like the movie was in the back of my head, and he was cutting the grass inside my head. Acknowledge and accept what you feel and what you're experiencing. I'd say write it down. And then I would suggest that you go along to your nearest sort of spiritual centre or church or whatever is available to you, and look to join a circle to explore and find out how this can be affirmed back to you and how you can work with it, so you can find your own way of working, and to have that absolute unwavering faith and courage in yourself that it's okay and to go your own way. and just allow, because we do find our own level and we all work very differently.
And also what I want to ask you is, because you describe yourself as a way guide.
Yeah.
Is that right? Have I said that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So explain what that is. What is a way guide?
Well, so often in life, we try to do what we think is correct. And we say, I think this in conversations and I think that. And what I would suggest and ask people to consider is that as soon as you put I in, you naturally take yourself away from that connection with the divine, or whatever you want to call a divine for you. Almost you're suggesting that you might know better or think you can do it differently better in some sort of way. And you know what? That doesn't work so well in my experience. Now, forget how people dress it up as your own ego or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I've found that actually, thinking is stinking, because that's how I remember it, and it rhymes and it's funny. So that it also relaxes me and it allows me just to let me realise that what comes to me truly is a gift to enable me to pass it on. And I can only do that in that state of allowing. So it's best that I get out of my own way, remove the filters, don't try and figure it out, because that's less likely to happen, because miracles happen and this is a gift and it's great to be able to share it.
So tell us a little bit about your future plans. So what have you got planned for this year?
Well, it's an exciting year. There's lots of new things happening. Some new centres and churches that I'm working at. The personal readings taking off. I've got some speaking engagements that are starting. One at a big church in Surrey, Kingston Spiritualist Church. Something I'm doing to help the church as a fundraising event. And I'm in talks with a friend of mine to take what I do up to the next level and beyond. And just trying some different things, some intimate evenings of mediumship at the Healing Room in Horsham, which is where we keep it very close to sort of 8 to 10 tickets. But everybody basically has a reading, and it's different and more close, and the energy is stronger than sometimes just working in a centre with 20, 30, 50, 100 people in it or whatever. It's just a different experience. So just trying different things.
Wonderful. Right, we are going to go on to our first caller in just a second. But before we do that, if people want to get hold of you for their own private reading, how can they do that?
They can do that on www.ianmason.com. They can find me as Ian Mason on Facebook, Skype, Instagram, Twitter, and all the usual offenders. I've got a Facebook page too, and of course LinkedIn.
Wonderful.
I have many connections on LinkedIn.
Excellent. Right, so let's go to our first caller. And now this is on our side of the water, from Glasgow, up in Scotland, and we have Lynette joining us. Lynette, can you hear me?
Yes.
Right, Lynette, I'm going to hand you over to Ian for your reading. Is there a particular question or anything that you would like Ian to look at for you tonight?
I would just like to know how my life's going to be in the future, and relationships and money-wise and things.
Okay. Well, that's a popular question there. And funnily enough, I just feel like I need to stroke the back of my head. So good evening, Lynette. How are you? Are you well?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Fabulous, my darling. Well, first of all, I've got this sense of this two gentlemen that join me, and I need to acknowledge a father figure that is here in spirit for you. Would that make sense for you, my darling?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Did you say yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And this gentleman here, as he comes forward, he feels for me like he's struggling quite a lot, and he had a lot of difficulty breathing towards the end of his life. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, and bless him, he's a lovely fella because he's got a lovely soft energy, but he gets a bit flustered and he says to me, "I'm always late for everything," and he's sort of running here to get here on time. Do you understand that with his character?
No, really, no.
Oh, okay, but he just feels like he's sort of like struggling to get himself here on time, and
Right.
he sort of. And it's a big effort for him, and he's rushing, and he's sort of mopping his brow, and as he comes close, he's got this sort of real big tug on his heart for you, and what he's saying to me is it's time for you to settle yourself down, and what he's doing by that is he just wants to give you an arm of reassurance, because he's saying to me the last 2 years have been quite difficult for you. Would you understand that?
Yes.
Yeah, and he just says, look, it really is time for you to settle down. He says your mind's been going 10 to the dozen. You do need to stop and put your feet up, and to stop overthinking everything. He says you're trying to sort out issues in the family there. I know that there's children around that still, what I want to say is, rely on you to some extent. And he's saying it's time just to let them stand on their own 2 feet, and for you to give that time for yourself. And he says sometimes that you try to, bless you, read too much into things, and I know we can all do that. But he just wants you to relax, because he just says you make yourself a little bit anxious, bless you, because you get that tightening in your chest.
Yeah, I do. I get that all the time,
Yeah, and he just says you're overthinking because you bring on the headaches there. That's what he says. And he's saying to me here, as far as money's concerned, he's saying to me here, try not to make it difficult. Try not to acknowledge that you've got that problem with money, and almost plan too much for the future, because he just makes me feel that you're trying to stretch it out too far. And he's just saying to me here, make sure that you use it for what you need now, and not worry about tomorrow, but you've got to deal with today, and he very much wants you to focus on that.
Right.
Okay. And what he says is that for love with you at the moment, again, I just feel that I need to settle myself down for you just to relax that little bit more. And then once you've sorted things out on the home front there, he's just saying to me that things will settle down for you. And he says to you, don't worry about trying to get everything done in the house, because he says there's a few jobs to do. I know he talks about a garden that needs attention as well, but he just says all things in good time.
Right, well, thank you so much, Lynette. We're going to have to leave it there. I hope you found that useful. I hope you enjoyed your reading. We're going to have to go straight over to our next caller, and we have Diana in Washington. Diana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello, lovely to have you on the show. Welcome. I'm going to hand you straight over to Ian, who's going to do your reading for tonight. Do you have a question for Ian?
Yes. What's about my daughter? Anything about my?
I'm sorry. Did you say your daughter?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me just see where we're going here. Okay. I feel that I've got 2 mother figures for you in spirit. I feel like I've got like somebody like a mother-in-law to you, and a mother figure as well, please. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. But both what I want to say are ladies that would want to look out and over and after the family, please. Although they're very different in their ways, I feel that your mother-in-law is a very different sort of softer approach, whereas your mum would be a little bit more concerning, a little bit more, I don't want to say uptight, but a little bit more strict by nature. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And they both, in their own way, as you mentioned your daughter there, they just bring their concerns to last September, and they're just saying to me here that they feel her life took almost like an unexpected turn, or there was very much she went a little bit off path, or things just didn't quite work out for her as expected. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that very much at the moment that she feels to me that she's recovering from, I don't like to use the word trauma, but I feel that she's been through quite a lot of life events in herself. And I feel that her love life around her would have also taken a bit of a journey there for her, because I just feel like comings and goings and breaks of connections. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, okay. And it's very much that, if she's on the high seas, we've got waves, tall ones, short ones, and it's almost she doesn't know whether she's going to get washed over with a big wave or be able to ride the little waves. And I know very much at the moment, this is time for her just to be in her own space and place, just for her to allow things to happen and just to try and be at ease with the different situations that life brings to her. I need to acknowledge the March birthday that links around your daughter, please, as well.
You said a March birthday for her?
March. There's a March birthday connection that's important that would link for her. This is in the family around her.
There's somebody
I'm hearing
in the
March
family
birthday.
There's somebody in the
okay,
family.
Okay. All right, I'm just getting that links as well. And I feel very much that this year is also about her changing jobs too. That's what I want to say, because I feel that there's a sense to change who I am and everything I know about myself. And I very much want to, by the end of the year, be in a different place. That's what they're telling me that she's thinking. And what they're showing me is by November, I feel, and this isn't, we don't do predictions, but I'm being shown November as getting more together and feeling like she's much more on her way and feeling a lot more settled in herself. And they're also telling me that I feel that there's a move coming up for her as well.
Okay.
Because I feel like I need to physically move locations.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a new broom sweeps clean, and I feel that this will also bring its own healing as well for her. But I do feel a change of profession for her, and I do feel her feeling better about the choices that she's making, because I'm just being shown she's trying to put those into place at the moment.
Okay.
Does that make sense for you?
Yes, it does. It really does.
Oh, and your mum wants to send you healing for your back and to your knees as well.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Diana. It was lovely to have you on the show. I hope you found that all useful. Hope it made sense for you. So I'm going to wish you a very good night. Just a quick reminder for everybody. Ian, if you could just let everybody know again how they can get hold of you if they'd like their own private reading with you.
Yes, you can email me at sensingspirituality@gmail.com. You can look me up at www.ianmason.com, and you can see a little bit about me, some nice pictures, I'd like to think. But you can also get all my contact details. You can see videos of me working at different demonstrations, and you can look me up on my YouTube channel, which is Ian Mason, and see some different videos as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Ian. And if you would like a private... Thank you. And if you would like a private reading with me, you can get through to me on my website, which is www.modern-mystic.co.uk. We're on Facebook under Mystic Saira and Modern Mystic. I'm going to say goodbye for now. Wish you a lovely evening and a lovely week ahead, and I'll see you the same time next week.